All right, my friends, there you have it. You have come a long way if you've gone all the way through this series. Just to recap, because we covered a lot of ground, and as I said at the very outset, this is deliberate and on purpose. I think if you're just going to have a cursory understanding of this, it's almost not worth it because you're just going to get shaken out and scared into selling your Bitcoin. And all of it will be for naught. And so in this series, we went all the way to first principles and studied the question of what is money? What's the history of money, the nature of money, some of the problems with different forms of money. And then we covered why Bitcoin helps solve for that and what Bitcoin is. We covered how Bitcoin works as a system. We discussed why it's special, why it's unique, why there will never be the next Bitcoin. And then finally, we talked about some of the more practical topics of how to acquire Bitcoin, how to secure your Bitcoin, how to use it if you're so interested, as well as some of the additional areas for study. And so if I were to condense my recommendations across all of this, and again, this is just my 2 cents, you are, of course, free to take it or leave it. But I would say if you're brand new to Bitcoin and you have none, get some as soon as you possibly can. None of this is financial advice, but like wink, wink, nod, nod. But get off zero. Like that's step one. And it honestly doesn't matter if you're doing that through a centralized exchange. But just be mindful of the trade-offs therein. And if you do have to do a centralized exchange, I would encourage you to look at something like Swan Bitcoin, which is Bitcoin only. It enables you to set up a DCA or dollar cost average plan where you're just automatically putting the same amount of fiat in every so often. And you can just kind of not be emotional when the market goes up and down, up and down, up and down. Once you've acquired your Bitcoin, it is critically important that you take custody of your keys. Do not leave your Bitcoin on exchanges. And so there are a number of great ways to do that. But if I were to filter it down and make a recommendation, I think Sparrow Wallet is an excellent desktop wallet for you to get your coins off the exchange. And then you should get yourself a hardware wallet, such as a Coldcard or a Foundation Devices Passport that allows you to store your private keys completely offline. And once you've done that, if you are so interested in spending some of your Bitcoin and using it to support your living expenses, Bitrefill is a very nice option that has a broad range of ways that you can spend your Bitcoin for everyday things. I didn't even touch on something like the Fold card or some of the different credit cards and debit cards that we're seeing and will continue to see that allow you to spend your Bitcoin, and they kind of do the translation behind the scenes. So that's another way that you could spend your Bitcoin if you're so inclined. And then we also talked about kind of borrowing and lending, where I think Unchained Capital and Celsius are probably the leaders, at least in my mind, there. So I hope you found this series useful and valuable. If you did, you already know what to do. Give this a like. Let me know your thoughts, questions in the comments down below. I'm really keen to hear if this is helpful. I know this was a lot that we covered, but again, it is by design. I don't think it's possible to do a kind of 30-minute video and off you go into the sunset. Maybe for some folks that works, but in my experience, for the vast, vast, vast majority of folks, if you don't have this more foundational understanding, you're going to just get caught up in the emotions of the market and you're going to get shaken out. Ain't nobody got time for that. But there you have it. We'll go ahead and leave this here. Again, if you're brand new and you've kind of gone through this series, I invite you to now continue on your journey with some of the other playlists I have on the channel. And of course, there are so many other channels and resources and podcasts that are doing great work as well. And so the biggest piece of advice I would say is take it in stride, incremental baby steps, buy your first Bitcoin, then move on to perhaps acquiring some through non-KYC, then move on to securing it, taking custody of it, then move on to doing that in a hardware wallet, then move on to, all these other things, running your own node, etc. And so treat it as a journey. Don't stress and try and knock everything out all at once. Take your time, and ask questions and ask for help. We each started somewhere. And so I hope you have found value in this series. If you want to support the channel, there are a number of ways to do it. I am shamelessly providing some affiliate links in the description down below. If you are so interested in some of the different kind of products or services that we've discussed, feel free to use those links, and in many cases you'll get some benefit yourself, and you'll definitely be supporting me and the channel. I'll also leave a link in the description down below where you can leave tips, etc. if you would like. Never expected, always appreciated. For now, my friends, we're gonna go ahead and leave this series here. As always, every sat counts, and until next time, I'll see you then.